Hi, my name is Griselda. I am a fourth year.
My name is Joanna Villegas. I'm currently the office coordinator at the LGBTQIA Resource Center. I'm also alumni.
My name is Joshua Paz. I will be a readmit student back in UC Davis.
My name is Jackie Gradia. I am a fourth year transfer student.
My name is Isidro Herrera. I'm a fourth year.
My name is Michael Flores. I am a fourth year re-entry student.
I'm from San Diego. I lived in Logan Heights, which is a low-income community. I was in high school and I didn't necessarily have a really good idea of what college was or meant.
I'm from Southern California, Santa Ana. It's not really, I wouldn't say ghetto. I come from a single mother household, oldest of 6. My mom had 3 jobs. But the community around us wasn't that safe. There was gangs, affiliations, shootings, helicopters going up in the sky.
My family didn't have anything when we came to the United States. I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and then the youngest one of 8. So that being said, it was a lot of pressure on me to succeed. I was supposed to not even make it. They told me there's no point in going to college. So growing up in that kind of mindset, I wasn't gonna think about going to college.
I am from Koreatown and South Central. The education, even within those 2 locations, is pretty bad, especially South Central since it's a low-income area. I've heard people here that had opportunities working in labs in colleges. During high school, I didn't. My high school only offered cheerleading.
I'm from San Bernardino, California. I didn't really think there was much opportunity out there because that entire city is bankrupt and there's not a lot of funding.
My mom made it to middle school and didn't finish for gender reasons, family thinking that women were just gonna kind of grow into marriage, and that was their means of support. For my dad, he was very poor, so I think he didn't even make it through elementary school. So that really shapes a lot of the where I came from. For them, education was a really important thing, but they didn't know what it meant to be in college, and to some degree didn't even know what it meant to be in high school.
Once I got into Davis, it was definitely a really great experience in the beginning, experiencing all the new academia and all the experiences that come with it. And I was really glad to join the LGBTQIA community because it really did help with the discovery of what my identity was.
So fall quarter and winter quarter were really difficult because of trying to adjust to just the pace of the quarter system, which is really difficult to handle. And no one really told me about that. No one told me that it was gonna go from semester to quarter and how to best prepare for that.
It was a really rough first quarter. I did really bad, and then I met folks that really connected me to the different resource centers, and that's kind of where I started growing a little bit.
I didn't really feel supported by UC Davis. I went to the Child Retreat last year, and that was really helpful. I met a lot of people. They were the ones that more helped me out. It was isolating, but thankfully I made that community.
So the first time I got to UC Davis, I was super excited. I wasn't homesick at all, but I was like, yay, Davis might be diverse and not kumbaya status, but I thought everyone was gonna get along. But then I know, I started experiencing microaggressions. So it started ever since my freshman year. At first I ignored it, but they've made me feel so not educated enough to even hang out with them. For example, one time when I was in my dorm, one of the suite mates came into our room, said it out loud to my roommate, hey, do you know how to do this problem? And I was like, oh yeah, I just read about it, it's blah blah blah. And she was she totally dismissed my answer and just asked my roommate again, do you know the answer? And she was like, no. And she's like, okay, thanks, and then just left. And that was just one of the few instances. There are many, but I don't want to cause this video to go too long.
Just in everyday conversations, they'll say things that they may not think are racist, but they are, and it makes me really uncomfortable. Yeah, it's just gotten to the point where I can't talk to those people. It really drains my energy. It makes me sad, you know. And yeah, a lot of people think it's just, oh, it's a little joke, but like it isn't. It adds up, you know.
Some microaggressions of racism that I faced is like not getting positions or like jobs where I know I should have gotten, but they gave it to someone else, and I've experienced that a lot. They tell me I'm just overqualified.
So there's a lot of conversations around like humanities, specifically like ethnic studies, as like being like easy classes or like irrelevant things to learn. But I think that a lot of students on campus, because it is a university, like advocate for those classes that feel relatable and feel meaningful, and are really like creating initiatives to impact communities of color and provide like educational access. But I think that when someone invalidates like a whole department, is also invalidating like someone's life experience and like a whole person. That is like racism, right? That is racism. In many ways can be classism.
But the way the guest was talking to me and to the housekeeper was, she was talking really slowly in English. It wasn't kind. Like it was really rude. So it's kind of like if you're trying to speak to a foreigner who doesn't speak English, and then you're speaking to them as if like they're dumb or like incompetent.
Too, like as a student and as a staff, I think there's a lot of like microaggressions that are related to class, where folks take things for granted, even in their speech. So for me, like I don't really see my family that often because I don't have the means to go home as often as I wish I could. I think that for people to like not acknowledge that even within like staff or like students, like there's varying like levels of class, right? Class access and privilege could be really damaging for like folks to feel like they have to silence their experiences or like invalidate like what they're experiencing.
1 out of 3 Latinos or Chicana students are in AP or subject to dismissal. I've personally known 3 people that were either dismissed or they dropped out because they didn't feel that Davis was very welcoming or supportive. They're like one of the like, especially in the sciences, like they advise, like let's just say you had a bad quarter and you were in AP, they just advise them like just drop and just become an arts and humanities major. And which is one of the struggles that I've noticed, that here in Davis you don't really see a lot of people of color in the sciences, and just seeing like a lot of like folks that do not understand where you come from. It's very hard, especially like in those classes, and that's something that I wish that could change.
Some factors that I believe contribute to the low retention rate has to be a lot of the sense of community at the university. I could tell you that coming into a university with a bunch of people who you can't relate to does have an effect on your academics.
Like being here as a minority, it did kind of suck. It did kind of suck. Didn't have people to talk to.
One of the weird factors that I felt isolated in the first quarter was because it was the culture shock, basically. Like I was used to a bunch of brown faces where I'm from, and then coming to this like university, the space, even the town, like there was a lot of like Caucasians, and I was like, where are my brown people at, you know?
As much support that I had from peers, I feel like I didn't have the support from either faculty or employees at the UC Davis institution.
There's been moments where I myself almost got kicked out of Davis many times, but just because I changed my mindset about it, I was able to persevere through it. There's many Latinos out there that don't realize that they're better than what like stats will say about them. So statistics say like most of them are going to drop out within the first year, and most of them do, and that's the problem. Like if you just think that you're not going to be one of those people, then you will make it. And just because they let like other people like influence their decisions or their mindsets.
Contributes to the retention rate has a lot to do with the high school you went to, especially if you went to a low income a low-funded like high school or school district, you don't necessarily gain the study skills that you need to actually succeed in college. My family thinks that once you get your degree, you're gonna be rich, and it's like that's not really what happens. You could like try, but sometimes it's difficult. Like college is difficult if you don't have like these certain study skills, or like if you're not stressing out about other things.
So HSI is an Hispanic Serving Institute. I remember getting this email back in probably 2013 saying that UC Davis is now going to be an Hispanic Serving Institute in 2015. And I just honest, like the moment that I read the letter, I just laughed. I was like, how is this even an Hispanic Serving Institute? Then this last year I did my research. They need to increase the number of Latinos up to 25%. Right now we're at 18%.
I'm very happy that it's becoming like a Hispanic institution. Like it's growing. Like now, because when I came here, I realized that there's not a lot of Latinos and Hispanics, and that's what kind of like hurt me at the very beginning when I was a freshman. Now that I'm gonna be a fourth year in my last year of college, I'm very extremely happy that once I graduate, it's gonna be like a Hispanic institution, because now it shows that we're growing and we're actually making a stand and we're actually making a presence on the Davis community.
UC Davis becoming HSI is interesting because of the recent fact that came out that California has one of the highest Latino Chicano communities that overcame white people. So it's interesting how now they're catering to that, but they can't even meet that goal when California already has so many people that are Chicano, Latina.
I honestly feel like a tool. The only reason why they're doing this is to get a grant. I do not know how much the grant is going to be, but if you're not even telling us where that money is going to be allocated and just saying like, oh, our experts are working on it, you're not an Hispanic Serving Institute. Why are you not trying to increase the number of Native Americans, African Americans, or any other minority? Why are you not increasing their numbers? Is it because you're not getting a grant? I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to think of other than me being a tool in order to get money.
The grant money should go. I definitely think it should go to maybe a diversity class or implementing a diversity requirement for UC Davis, because maybe that's how all the problematic things stop. It's educating at the very, very beginning, freshman level, taking a workshop, or it has to be mandatory, because that if we facilitate to people right off the bat, it'll continue to grow in their academic journey.
It's considering the retention rates are really low. If they do increase the Chala population in the university, I believe that the retention rates are gonna be even lower. And the problem with that is that there's gonna be a lot of Chala students who end up dropping out of the university. If they get kicked out of the university, they're gonna be left with a whole lot of debt. There aren't a lot of Chala people who come from like wealthy families who will be able to pay off this debt. They're gonna be in a deeper hole than they were in the first place.
Latinos, Chicanos, we already have very low retention rates. So if we do become HSI, then there's a question of how are we going to retain those students if we already have like low resources for the other students. If we're going to have HSI, then the SRC needs more staff. We're only 6 people. Like, if you really want to help out these HSI students that you do bring in, you need to put more people to work. You need to pay us more. You need more staff.
1 out of 3 Hispanic students are in academic probation or subject to dismissal, assuming that they do go to subject to dismissal. So are you telling me that you're gonna just like have a lot of more Latina students so you could keep that 25%? So maybe like double, triple their numbers, since they're just gonna drop out or they're gonna be dismissed. I feel like retention, that's what they should work on, retention.
Don't have a great retention rate. I want there to be accountability on the end of administration, because it can sound really pretty to say like we have like a high number of students that identify as such and such. Yay, like college access. And there has been a history of like tokenization. And so not wanting that to be part of what's happening, right? Like I want like genuine investment in the community, and the well-being of like scholars and like faculty staff, and like space for scholars to really feel like they're being heard and like what they're asking for is being implemented. Mm-hmm.